You are listening to KYST 89.3 FM, The Bone.
The Bone.
AM 1400, The Growler.
The Growler.
And you are hearing us as we are simulcast live on South Tucson Local Access Channel number 22.
Oh, man.
Hey, Moses. It is South Tucson Youth Football. It is the playoffs. It is the postseason. I'm Brian. That's RJ. We get things started with a huge 8 versus 9 seed matchup in the first round of the playoffs. Kebab Barkers, the champions of the Foreign Legion, the 8 seed overall, hosting 9 seed the Binging Texan, an at-large bid out of the Gluttony League, which has been considered the best league, the best conference in all of South Tucson. Am I hearing Macho right now? I don't know. Hi, RJ.
Hello, welcome. Yes, this is the granddaddy of them all. Well, the estranged uncle that has been in jail for much of the last 5 years of them all.
Absolutely, it is. We are getting things started. This is the tournament. 8 versus 9, Texas Roadhouse, the number 1 overall seed, awaiting the winner of this one. We got 2 games for you Wednesday night, 2 games for you tomorrow night, Thursday. Saturday, Sunday will be the second round. The winners of the games, the teams playing tonight, of course, will play on Saturday against the 2 teams with overall byes. That is John Curtis, the quarterback for the Binging Texan. Throwing that one incomplete, 3rd and 10. These kids have had a lot of time off, mostly because it took me a lot of time to make that video, and I was away for 2 weekends in a row because I was in Orlando, and then before that I was in Baltimore, and I can't edit there. And right off the bat, we got a flag, personal foul, face mask. Everyone take a drink. And I have a cup. It's a chalice. It's something called playoff stew. And what I understand it to be is just a mix of leftovers from the school lunches that the coaches come in and tell the kids who are athletes they can't have because they're on playoff diets.
That is hearty and delicious.
I think I got a chunk of a chicken nugget and some corn nibbles in there.
Drinking ramen-flavored ramune.
Ramen-flavored ramune. And we saw, by the way, Mo Better Blues with the only really yard of... no, I wouldn't say that, but... someone has a cup of ramen powder, no noodles, just the powder. Tucson apple, chai guy, drinking basically steroids flavored with apple.
Tucson, the official sponsor of the South Tucson Youth Football Playoffs.
Yes, our corporate sponsors.
Basically steroids.
I had to throw all those in there. I had to throw in the little lines of the. These games are taking place Wednesday night in South Tucson. South Tucson Youth Football and its corporate sponsor, Tucson. I enjoyed making this out, the selection show, and thank you to RJ for helping me out with some analysis on that one. We got Kebab Barkers holding Binging Texan into a punt situation, and Kebab Barkers riding a 4-game winning streak, which includes a win in the Foreign Legion championship game over the Wandering Lush Irish Pub. They know to get their wins in close games. In fact, I'm looking at all their results. I think they only have 1 game, 2 games out of their 11 they played that were I guess considered more than 1-score games. They lost by 10 to nothing but Borscht in week 6, and they beat the Wandering Lush 24-7. Everything else was a game that went to 7 points or less. So I think we're going to be seeing a close game here. Binging Texan finished the season strong, 2 wins in their last 2. 6-4, 4-3 in conference, but again, the Gluttony League, far and away the best conference in South Tucson this season. Their strength of schedule, 2nd overall, 4th best RPI, easily an at-large bid for them.
That's true. You could make the case that Kebab Barkers was just 1 away, as in 1 score away from winning a lot of these games and really improving their seeding. But as it stands right now, they're in a very tough matchup.
Yeah, they definitely came on strong in the end of the season. I think we're really going to point to weeks 5, 6, and 7, where when 3 of their 4 losses were suffered, they were looking really strong to start the season, but then hit a bit of a skid. Losses to Francois Creperie, nothing but borscht. Dagum Singh's Exotic Kohlers. Those last 2 games, of course, away from home. So tough games there. They certainly weren't getting in based on their merit of their strength of schedule or their RPI. The Foreign Legion, not a very strong conference this year, this season. They needed to win that championship game, and they did what they needed to do. They won the games they had to win, and that's the nice thing about the new postseason format is that every conference gets a representative. Now we get to see what they do. That's Chip Goff with an 8-yard catch, but it's 4th and 1. Big stop by the Binging Texan. Looks like they're going to punt. Kebab Barkers are. Garth Diggs may want to watch for the fake here. I don't know why you wouldn't just go for it on 4th and 1, but they might fake the punt. Nope, they're going to punt it and pin Binging Texan deep into their own territory. 15-yard line is where that ball is going to go out of bounds. So
Kebab Barkers on special teams there. They have stacked the deck against the Binging Texan for this drive.
Yeah, they didn't want to go for it on 4th. They weren't quite high rollers just yet. That's the dice game, right? No, I think the dice game is just called the dice game. God damn it.
Well, this certainly is going to be a hole-in-one of a contest. That much is for certain.
No doubt. And Mo Better Blues getting 2 yards on that one. Binging Texan. Let's talk about the offensive playbooks of these 2 teams. As you know, if you've been following South Tucson Youth Football, these teams are basically the cupcake rosters. Each team has 3 star players that have been boosted a little bit. It's not the same player in every team, so, a little shake up there. And they each have a different offensive playbook. So the Binging Texan have the playbook of the University of Alabama. So roll Tide. And that Tide will also be used to get the stains out of your shirt when you eat at the Binging Texan Barbecue Buffet. Kebab Barkers have the pistol offense. So there you go. That's the pistol offense. So, it's a little bit of an option play. Not quite the shotgun, but...
otherwise referred to as the Secretettes offense.
The what now?
The Secretettes offense.
Oh, is that really what it's called?
I believe so.
Nice.
Especially in the case of Kebab Barkers. My goodness.
Oh, damn it.
John Curtis got run over by Ricardo Stovall.
It's 3rd and 17. This has been a defensive struggle so far in the first quarter. Binging Texan out of the shotgun, back at their own 15. 3rd and 17. Nice catch made. Hey, yo, Goins. And he got to the first down marker, and he went over. So Kebab Barkers would think they lost on that one, but going over
Kebab
is a good
Barkers
thing.
Just completely lost coverage of Goins going down the sideline, and yeah, that's a huge gain for them on 3rd and 17, no less, to convert.
Got him 18 yards. That is just enough. Of course, the actual retail yardage needed was 17, but they were over. But it doesn't matter in this one. Help me understand what's going on. This is my favorite game. Oh, man. Then I feel I'm sorry. So, for those unfamiliar, because I know there's a lot of new people coming in here, this is South Tucson Youth Football. I've taken the NCAA 14 game. I've used Team Builder to create a bunch of fake teams as if they were a rec league football. So all these team names are basically fake local sponsors of a town that I've made up called South Tucson, Arizona. It's a terrible... wonderful place. It's the 4th biggest little city in the world, and basically this is the playoffs. I treated it like college football, except there's a 12-team playoff now, so this is the playoffs starting. Yeah, and it's all CPU versus CPU. We just present it like it's a fun little thing. South Tucson sports has been a thing that I've been doing on this channel for a while. It started with baseball, and now it's football.
We have all the horror and exploitation of Friday Night Tykes on the USA Network, but without the production value.
Yes, it's basically like just making fun of kids being pressured into playing high-level sports. And we see the Binging Texan, of course, the away team, the 9 seed in this 12-team tournament. A lot of time for John Curtis, 3rd and 5 to throw. Makes the catch, Stephon Edmonds, 17 yards and a first down. Binging Texan finding that offense moving. Nice slant route. Gets out of bounds. And a solid play call. And it looks like Mo Better Blues went out with a bit of an injury. It looks like back spasms. Poor kid for an 11-year-old to have back spasms. But he'll be back soon, it looks like.
Yeah, he took a tough hit from Rex in effect earlier in this drive.
Was that by Rex in effect?
Absolutely.
Oh, it makes me so happy. One of the star players are Kebab Barkers, Rex in effect. Oh, yeah, so I haven't mentioned some of the star players, like the Binging Texan. Their star player, of course, is the running back, Mo Better Blues, who is currently getting treatment. That is the backup running back, Omar Causey. Omar's coming, and he got 12 yards on that one. Also on that team, defensive lineman, Bruce Make Sugar, and linebacker, Gladiator Matthews. Wait, Gladiator Matthews? Am I sure about that? I think it was Gladiator Gemini. I don't know why I put Gladiator Matthews. I think it's Gladiator Gemini. I think that was a typo on my part. Anyway,
it's his mother's maiden name.
Yeah, right. Kebab Barkers have, of course, star defensive back Rex Neffect, linebacker Kirkpatrick, and wide receiver Nick Arcade. An introduction to the Binging Texan. My goodness, the Binging Texan Barbecue Buffet is probably my favorite sponsor in all of South Tucson for the lore of it. The idea of the Binging Texan, yeah, Gladiator Gemini Matthews. Roll, you can join if you want, if you'd like to. He's in our Hitbox channel, which is... Oh, Mo Better Blues up the middle, back from injury. And a touchdown for the Binging Texan to get things started. They are up 6-0.
Opening up a burlap sack and stuffing all the points they can into the burlap sack and drizzling it with barbecue sauce. This is the Binging Texan and Mo Better Blues. Look at them power through the defensive backs to punch it in for 6.
Yes, you need more than a spork to get that loose. And so the Binging Texan Barbecue Buffet is a brilliant business model. So it's a barbecue buffet. You go in... and the first thing you'll notice is that there are no chairs, no tables. You sit on the floor. And the second thing you'll notice is that when you go in, it's going to empty itself, is you are handed a burlap sack. That is your burlap sack. In fact, if you're a club member, you can get your burlap sack off the wall. And has it been washed? Of course not. That's flavor that we're going to be washing out of that. And what you do is you go and you help yourself to the buffet, which is like your standard buffet, except they have little trowels, like if you're gardening, like gardening trowels. And you just go ahead and you scoop all your food into your burlap sack that you want to take. Okay, you do that.
You got your ribs, you got your brisket, you got your coleslaw, you got your mashed potatoes,
mac and cheese. You know, they've got like it's your standard buffet. Like they even got some less not barbecue foods, but you know they got like a full like everything you want there. You know, they got your little cakes and cookies and your salad if you really feel like it. But of course, the salad is already drizzled in just ranch dressing. And then when you're ready to check out, you go to like a little turnstile and you check out, and you are handed a spork. Again, if you're a club member, you can get your personalized spork. And what happens is your burlap sack is then taken by a person whose job is to pour a pitcher full of what is called binge sauce. And it is a mixture of gravy and Crisco. And that binge sauce is poured into your burlap sack. And then they have a separate person whose only job at the Binging Texan is to rustle the burlap sack. Just get it in there and just mush it all together to make sure that every morsel of food is coated in that delicious soppy binge sauce. And then you go and you sit on the floor and you open up your burlap sack and you have at it with a spork. And you hate yourself. And then you come back next week.
Absolutely. Some people think that the meat and 3 is sufficient. We've got a meat and 30.
Meat and 30. It's a 5 meat and 30. It's meats and 30.
Personal foul.
Yeah, the salad bar is 75% ranch dressing. It was just leaking off the counter. That's true. They actually have, they have those like chocolate fountains. They have a ranch dressing fountain. And the butter waterfall, which they had to shut down because too many kids were bathing in it.
Yeah, that's true, and believe it or not, South Tucson elementary schools do have basic hygiene requirements for all students.
You believe it or not, they actually do. We did have a face mask. Everyone got to take a drink. I understand from this that our friend Roll is cracking open a can of Reflex Blue. That's DuPont paint, and he's doing it while singing Back in the High Life Again. So little Steve Winwood. Meanwhile, Phillip Owens up the middle for a touchdown for Kebab Barkers. Halfway through the second quarter of play, this has been a fast-moving game, and with the extra point pending, this is all tied up.
Of course, I've been drinking very similar to Reflex Flu. It is a nice frosty glass of Go Mango, which some of you American car enthusiasts may be familiar with, it is just a bucket of Go Mango paint that was used on various Chrysler models throughout the 60s and 70s.
Oh, God.
Most notably the Hemi-powered muscle cars.
Oh, Jesus. Why are all of you drinking paint today?
Why weren't we drinking paint sooner?
That's
because
fair.
it's playoff fever.
It's playoff paint. It's paint drinking playoff fever.
That's good mango.
I believe you on that one. Oh man. Well, here we go. We've got tie game, 7 apiece. Reflex Blue is the best drink in paint because it takes a very long time to dry. Notoriously undryable paint. Fair enough. And John Curtis, the quarterback, drops back. Incomplete pass. Not a good stat line so far. 6 of 13, 95 yards. They have been giving the Binging Texan a hard time on defense.
Yeah, they're making them scramble like a real rat race out there. That's for sure.
Go Mango is a new color for the... Oh, beautiful. That's amazing. I need to see what this looks like. Oh, God. No. No. No.
It's so delicious.
Is it? I hope so, because... not sure how I feel about it. And a big 4th down for the Binging Texan. They're going to go for it with 2:01 to go in this half. Lot of time to throw. Oh, overthrew it, and it's a turnover with 1:56 to go in the first half. Kebab Barkers have a chance to put some more points on the board before we go to the halftime interval. Our friend Candace, she's drinking a cocktail of 91% isopropyl alcohol and apple cider vinegar. You know, you want that apple cider vinegar to cut the heat of the isopropyl alcohol. I think you want to garnish it maybe with a cucumber, and by the time you drink it, it's actually almost a pickle. Or just a big old red onion. And Garth Diggs, the quarterback for Kebab Barker, sacked for a loss of 6. Seeing a lot of strong defensive plays in this game so far. That's why it's only 7 apiece, and the game has been moving so fast.
Yeah, this has been a fun matchup to kick off the playoffs here at South Tucson Youth Football. Yes. I am excited. And we are followed up by the 5-12 game, which you've called as a one to watch for an upset. You know, we don't really have the 5-12 is known to be an upset game in basketball, and this is going to be the lowest seed Cramblers, House of Gags and Actual Items, the 12 seed taking on Hootenanny's Country Western Daycare as the 5 seed. You were kind of licking your chops at that one. That was a bit of a mouth-watering matchup, was it not? Oh, absolutely. I think the way that Cramblers played their way into the playoffs just to get to this point, it's really going to inspire them against a Hootenanny's team that also has great ambitions. It's going to be a tougher game than I think a lot of people realize. It's an us against the world mentality for them. It's kind of like nothing to lose. You know, it's the playoffs. Can't hold anything back. And, of course, big catch by Nick Arcade on that one, 10-yard reception. First down, and Garth Diggs passing stats, 7 for 8, 54 yards, not throwing a lot, opting to run it quite a bit, but finds a receiver wide open, and a first down and then some. It's Ivan Mathis, 18 yards, and they are in the red zone down to the 15-yard line with 50 seconds to go. They take their second of 3 timeouts, and Kebab Barkers just keep going. They've been in the red zone once before. They got a touchdown. They're going to make it too. Connor Triplett, another 15-yard catch and a touchdown for Kebab Barkers. Kebab Barkers are finding the range game here in the red zone. Connor Triplett catches it with seemingly no defenses around him from the Binging Texan. That was a perfect pass from Garth Diggs. I'm taking a look at it on my replay. Yes, it's a pass. He throws a perfect spiral. No, but everybody is 5 steps behind him. And the extra point is up, and it is good, which means that we are seeing the Binging Texan with 44 seconds to go, a chance to now tie it up. They took the lead early on. They find themselves completely behind that one, giving up 2 scores
on 2 possessions to Kebab Barkers. They take it up to the 32. Simeon Hurd with that return.
Got ourselves a good one, and the first half's about to come to a close. Can Benjing Texan get some points?
Indeed, and 3rd and 1 now after a 6-yard catch by Stephon Edmonds. He's been a go-to receiver for the Benjing Texan, but they are fighting the clock right now. They got to go downfield. They go for it. Almost picked off. Blocked and deflected by Jermaine Good. He had a receiver. He just underthrew it a little bit, and that could have easily been an interception, but it's 4th and 1 for the Benjing Texan. They're going to have to punt. 19 seconds to go. You know, I got to say, I think you just have to go for that one on that one. I think that's a bit of a timid call by the coach of the Benjing Texan.
They're certainly confident that they can make a strong showing in the second half, but that's not guaranteed given the way that Kebab Barker's defense has been actively causing havoc in the backfield for them.
No doubt. They've been doing that a lot. Dump it off, quick pass. Enough for a first down. A lot of yards after the reception there for Graham Bush. 12 yards overall. And that's a thing that Kebab Barkers are... they tend to, you know, their scoreline. They don't tend to really hold anyone to low scores. They don't really have shootouts. It kind of runs the gamut here. And Garth Diggs takes a big hit for 3 yards. That's going to bring an end to the first half of play in the first game of the South Tucson Youth Football Playoffs. The 8 seed Kebab Barkers leading the Benjing Texan, the 9 seed Benjing Texan Barbecue Buffet, by a score of 14-7. And of course, as always, our playoffs, South Tucson Youth Football Playoffs, are brought to you by Nissan. Be sure to test drive the all-new 2017 Laugh Finder. It comfortably seats 8. It uncomfortably tells you to wait.
It uncomfortably seats all of your busted brackets because you bet the mortgage on the wrong team, motherfucker.
I like that a lot. And that's going to be... and of course, thanks to our corporate sponsor, Tucsonade. Tucsonade, it's basically steroids. Be sure to try some of their new flavors like Pineapple Blitz, Warzone Red, and of course, L. Be sure to try L, the letter L.
What kind of flavor is the letter L?
It tastes like the alphabet.
Is it kind of like an umami flavor?
It is. It's very meaty.
Delicious.
And we're going to get things started with the second half of play. Benjing Texan kicking off to Kebab Barkers here in the third quarter. Be sure to stay tuned. We got 2 games for you. This is the first of 2 of our playoff doubleheader. The next game coming up, the 5 seed Hootenanny's Country Western Daycare taking on the 12 seed Crambler's House of Gags and Actual Items, with the winner of that game facing Kathy's Country Cookin' on Saturday in the second round, the 4 seed. Of course, the winner of this one has a lot to do. They've got the 1 seed Tax's Roadhouse in the second round, and I gotta say that's a team that I don't think anyone really wanted to face. I mean, you want to get the opportunity to play them, but you know, I think you made the point in the selection show. I don't think anyone wants to play Tax's Roadhouse right now.
No, they've got the best record in all of South Tucson. They finished strong. They had just one of the more memorable conference games. It was a real character-defining moment for that Tax's Roadhouse team.
To come back and beat Twin Towers to erase that huge deficit and win over Twin Towers. By the way, that was a fumble on that play recovered by Kebab Barker. Still hang on to it. It's 3rd and 12. But I mean, 10-1 is the only team to have the only one-loss team in South Tucson. No teams went undefeated this season. They are the only team to have only 1 loss on their record. They were by and large the best team. The BCC ranked 2nd overall as far as conferences. They didn't play the best out of conference schedule. Teams that middled about. They did have a win over Crambler, so that is one playoff team on their on their record. They actually had a win over Pawn Shop of the Nazarene, who at one point were looking to do pretty well, but fell off a bit. But I got to say, the most important thing about Texas Roadhouse is they are doing all this in their first ever season as a team in South Tucson Youth Football. They are one of the 4 expansion teams. And the fact that they went and ended up going 10-1 and being the number 1 overall seed is really a testament.
We haven't seen anything like this since perhaps the days of the Jacksonville Jaguars and the Carolina Panthers making the playoffs and going to their conference championship games in their second season of play.
Yep. And I mean, we look back to last. That's the thing. Here's the deal: is that the number 1 seed, based on last year. Remember, last season's tournament was only 8 teams, so there were no first round byes. And the number 1 seed, Welders of the Universe, ended up losing in the first round. So number 1 seeds, as much as they've earned that with a great season, it's not a gimme game. The Binging Texan Kebab Barkers, they're showing they can play, and if their defense turns up like they are in these games, then Texas Roadhouse are not going to have an easy game. That's Mo Better Blues with a 6-yard gain, 2nd and 4 for Binging Texan, who are down to the 28-yard line, 2nd and 4.
What makes Kebab Barkers is no matter how many points they allow on defense, they can just seemingly put up any number that they wish on offense to try and make this an even game. We've seen that throughout the course of the season.
I found out one of their strategies is during the press conference of interviews, when they have all the coaches, they always tend to ask their opponents how many points they think they're going to score, and then whenever the opponent answers, Kebab Barkers always say one more than that. They always, so if like the Binging Texans say, we're going to score 35 points, they ask Kebab Barkers, they say 36, because they don't want to go over.
That's true, and of course, we do not have the CFL Rouge here in South Tucson Youth Football, so nobody can bid on just scoring 1 point.
That's true. Because you don't want to, you want to score the most points without going over.
Goodness gracious, I tell you what, the atmosphere is absolutely electric, or it may just be the faulty circuit wiring that's powering the lights. I can hear crackling. I definitely wouldn't touch that.
No, I think it's I saw some loose wires in a puddle outside. I made sure to just walk around that. Decided that's probably the best for my well-being. I had that Cranberry kid go tell someone about it, and hopefully he's not just playing in the puddle. Oh, that's going to be a huge catch, but he does not get in the end zone. Nice tackle on the goal line. Johnny Rivers with the catch. Down at the 1. That is not a name we came up with. That is the game naming someone Johnny Rivers. And I don't know what John Curtis was doing, who he was throwing that to. See, he threw that through the uprights. Can't score that way, my friend.
Well, let's find out. It's a good try in rugby, perhaps in Aussie rules, but it doesn't work here in South Tucson.
That time it connects. Ayo Goins, 1-yard catch in the back of the end zone. It's a touchdown for the Binging Texan, and we are back to a tied game, assuming the extra point comes through. John Curtis thought this was Aussie rules, is what Roll said as well. Yes. That would have been a behind for 1 point then if he just chucked it through. Although you can't throw, you gotta basically volleyball serve it.
Number 12 back to return.
This is an even tilt. Something has to give in these next quarter and a half.
The clock is moving at a very rapid pace. This is a very fast-moving game. It's already 1:42 to go in the third quarter, tied at 14. Defense has been the story of this one. Wouldn't you have to agree?
It absolutely has been. These certainly not keeping. I mean, it's not been a typical defensive stalemate, but the defenses have been causing trouble and disrupting plays at crucial times for both sides.
Yep, getting those 3 and outs, those punt forces. and keeping this a low-scoring game, 14-14. It might be the odd field goal, and Garth Diggs is taken. He is hit from the blind side, and Ryan Gillette with the sack. He didn't even see him coming. He literally runs right by the blocker, which was the running back. Number 2.
Ryan Gillette, that is the absolute best that a defense can get on that stop here. Garth Diggs just has nowhere to go.
Well, he's going to be looking for friends in low places, because those low places are the ground where he was taken down into. But Graham Bush comes back with a 15-yard reception. 4th and 2, and they're going to have to punt Kebab Barkers. It was just not enough after that. Here is the punt. It is going all the way to it's returned at the 30, and they get about another 8 yards on it. Ryan Gillette takes it out. They're going to spot it at the 43. And the binging Texan, this back and forth kind of game, it's going to come down to maybe just one of those, one score like that.
It could come down to a field goal. It could come down to one tip pass. It could come down to just the tip.
It most certainly could.
Third quarter drawing to a close. Binging Texan has the ball. Moves up the field with the first down.
I got to say, after that sluggish start, maybe you want to call it playoff nerves. John Curtis has found his form. Gets a receiver wide open, Morris Gates. And the time is 26 seconds to go in the third quarter. That's a 16-yard gain. And the binging Texan are charging back into this one. Looking at the playoff bracket and thinking back to teams that made the field last year, because we're saying nerves for maybe a first time to in the playoffs, and I'm looking through. I don't think we have a single team, and I'm looking at it right now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We do not have a single team from last. We have only one team. I take it back. One team from last season's playoffs have made the playoffs this season. Do you want to take a guess without looking at who that is? Anyone want to guess who the single team from last season's playoffs that also made the playoffs this year? I'll give you a hint. They actually are the same seed number.
I want to say it's 1-800-BUY-A-DAD.
Actually close. 1-800-BUY-A-DAD were the ninth ranked team and just missed out last season.
Oh, man.
It would be the number 6 seed, Holy Balls. The only team in the playoffs this season who made last year's playoffs. As the 6th seed, they lost to the number 3 seed, which was Sam & Son's Gazebo Repair. And Rufus Canary, 5-yard touchdown, pass, catch, whatever.
13 unanswered points for the binging Texan, 14 pending the extra point.
Yep, they're going to be looking to make another comeback here. This is a huge, huge turn of events. This has been a back-and-forth game. It might come down to the final score being the winning one. The extra point is good. 21-14, 4:44 left to go in this game. The 9 seed taking the lead over the 8 seed. And I know some brackets that might be ripped up already. I don't know why, just because this is only the first game. That's a little unnecessary.
Absolutely true. And of course, you could play one day fantasy South Tucson youth football or our friends at legalbetforrealmoney.gov.
It's totally not a sting operation. That's their tagline.
Absolutely. legalbetforrealmoney.gov.
You can try out some of their fun betting innovations. Their FBI, their home of the FBI, fun betting innovations.
That'll bring up 2nd and 11.
And Kebab Barkers have to answer, and they're going to be running out of time. They got to make use of all these opportunities. Here is out of the shotgun. Hands it off. Bush only gets 2 yards. 3rd and 10. They're back to where they started, and they're just falling. These kids are falling all over each other. It shows how much they want it. They want it so badly. These kids in these in this playoffs. Start in the first round, you got to win 4 games, and they've already played. Some of these teams have already played 11. That's a 6-yard catch by Graham Bush, 4th and 3, and they're going to be punting it. So he did a
Delicious nachos.
Pardon?
Delicious nachos. Look, I found some in the concession stand. Someone just handed them to me, and I'm like, wow, these are delicious.
Delicious nachos indeed. And that's going to be a great punt. The binging Texans are stuck back inside their own 5. And with a 7-point lead.
I tell you what.
Oh, sacked for a loss of 3. John Curtis. Look, one more step back. Ricardo Stovall. Take a look at that Stovall.
Ooh, what a Stovall.
Put a huge hit on the quarterback. And luckily he didn't take a step back because that would have been a safety. And 2 points for Kebab Barkers and the football. So we got to watch out. They are down to their own 2. And you know that the Kebab Barkers is going to want to send the house. They get back 3 yards. Mo Better Blues. Smart idea to hand it to him. Get at least a little bit of room to breathe. Binging cheese. Ew.
Yes, that's just not Velveeta infused with binging sauce.
It's Velveeta and Crisco.
Yes.
Ew. That's disgusting and I love it.
It's just that right lukewarm temperature where it just becomes completely unpalatable. That's delicious.
And Binging Texan get 8 yards on that one, and Mo Better Blues is sent flying over the tacklers. 4th and 2, so they're going to punt it, but smart to take as much time off the clock as possible. The punt unit is out. They're going to be punting from their own end zone. And Kebab Barkers are going to have a short field to work with to tie this game up, but they're going to get as little bit of time as the Binging Texans are going to allow them. It's going to be about 2 minutes left on the clock in this game. And we've got a tight one to start off the playoffs.
This will be the showcase showdown of the ages for Kebab Barkers and the Binging Texan.
It sure will. It is returned at the 40. And Kebab Barkers, with less than 2 minutes to go, down a touchdown. Start from the 32-yard line. They are already in the Binging Texans territory. Thanks to pinning them back. Incomplete pass, almost bobbled and intercepted. But they'll settle for an incompletion. 2nd and 10. And here's the thing. Kebab Barkers are in 4-down territory. I think no matter where on the field they are, especially right here. But they are in 4-down territory, so Binging Texan know what they have to do. That's going to be another incompletion. Found a receiver up the middle, couldn't hang on to it. 3rd and 10, Kebab Barkers. And this is really game... the game is on the line at this point. Would you have to agree, RJ?
This is it. This is going to be it here. Kebab Barkers' hopes absolutely hanging off the edge of the cliff.
And another incompletion. It's 4th and 10. This is the game. And you know the real problem is here. They've been throwing these footballs in the tough part to hit these to catch them. That's the hands. The hardest part to hit.
The hands.
Oh, overthrown. It's a turnover. Kebab Barkers have gone over. And you can hear the crowd just wailing in agony.
Boom, 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 boom.
Oh, you just heard them. And it looks like the Binging Texan, well, all 3 timeouts still for Kebab Barkers. They need to get a first down still. So they're going to hand it off to Mo Better Blues, 2nd and 8, and call him the first timeout. So a first down for the Binging Texan will effectively end this game. Mo Better Blues gets another 2 on that one, 3rd and 6. They're going to be celebrating in Little Honduras tonight. All the way from Little Honduras down to Little Vanuatu, which is actually something I already wrote into the lore of South Tucson, because there's Little Vanuatu dry cleaners. So why not? There's a Little Honduras too. 4-yard catch, 4th and 2, and actually looks like Kebab Barkers might have a chance here. Kirkpatrick with the tackle. They've used all 3 timeouts. and they're going to get the football back. Do you believe in second chances? Kebab Barkers do, but they let it go. It's all the way down to the 22-yard line. Oh, man.
Oh, man. Moses, you idiot. What a terrific punt, by the way. That may be the longest punt ever recorded in the history in South Tucson.
That's what they needed. That's the best time possible. Huge catch for a first down and then some. Gets out of bounds. Chip Goff, 24 yards. First down for Kebab Barkers. More importantly, out of bounds, stopping the clock at 1:21. Now, of course, in South Tucson youth football, when the first down is recorded, the clock is stopped and starts once the ball is spotted again. So it only stops temporarily. It's not a timeout. It just starts back up again once the ball is spotted, but he got out of bounds, so that stops the clock. Clock is not running. 1:21. They're already at their own 45. 55 yards to go to tie this game up. Oh, overthrown. Garth Diggs had a receiver open, but he overthrew it by about 5 yards. 2nd and 10.
Somehow this game is not over. They have not overbid just yet. Oh, but that was
This is where it gets exciting.
For sure.
It is certainly win or go home. And since home is really close by, that's not a long trip, and that's going to be done with a lot of crying. So this is really the part. It's really win or get out, and really you're going to see kids crying on this field. You know, this is really their heart and soul is pouring into this game, and it's going to come down to so close. Graham Bush, no gain on that one. It's 4th and 10. This is it for Kebab Barkers. This is truly the last chance. If they want to find a chance to tie this game up, they need to get the 10 yards right now. They throw it long. Overthrown. It's all over. 54 seconds to go, but the binging Texan get the ball back. And they should easily kneel this out and take a win and meet Texas Roadhouse in one tasty second-round matchup. They're going to go ahead and kneel this one out.
Tasty is right. You're going to be seeing the fans loading up their burlap sacks from the Binge Club.
I understand they actually, for the playoff games, they let the fans bring their own personalized sacks to wave in the air like a fan thing, and just morsels of food are just flecking everywhere. It's gross.
Yes, and they're insulated, so they'll keep your food warm for 72 hours.
Keeps the warm food warm and the cold food cold, somehow. Well, that's going to be it. It was a valiant effort, a great season for Kebab Barkers. They finished the season as Foreign Legion champions, their first ever conference championship, their first ever playoff bid. But they are going to end their season tonight. The final score, Binging Texan, Barbecue Buffet, the 9 seed, 21. The 8 seed, Kebab Barkers, 14.
And they are storming the field and coating it in corn chowder.
Which is really just an insult to Kebab Barkers. It is their home field. That's really just rude. But the lower
That
seed,
really is.
the lower seed actually makes its way to the second round. So it's going to be a 1 seed versus 9 seed matchup as Texas Roadhouse will meet the Binging Texan on Saturday.
Oh, and this one's going to be a meat grinder. It's Texan versus Taxes.
Texas versus Texas. Oh my God, it is. It really is.
Forget your Red River Shootout. We're talking barbecue sauce river shootout.
Oh my God, it's the showdown at the 401k Corral. I'm so glad that broke you. That's so hard to do these days. That made me so happy. That got that. That's got the best reaction I can never get a better reaction than that.
Yes, be sure to tweet it out in our next and the second round of playoffs.
God damn it.
With the hashtag 401k Corral Showdown.
I know you're not supposed to laugh at your own jokes, but fuck it, I was proud of that one. All right, let's go check out the star players of these games. This is one hell of a game. Again, credit to Kebab Barkers. You know, you never like to see a bunch of kids on the field crying like that, but you know that is the true harsh nature of youth sports. And of course, those kids will be taken home and they will be derided by their parents. No matter what effort they put out, will not have been good enough.
And no PS4 for 2 weeks.
2 whole weeks. Not until the season is basically over. And yeah, that's going to be a quick turnaround for the binging Texan. They're going to be kids with a lot of bumps and bruises. They're going to have to recover quickly because Texas Roadhouse, they're waiting for them. And let's take a look at some of the star players of this game. There we see Garth Diggs. There you see the stat line, John Curtis. Tracy McCarty on defense for binging Texan, 7 tackles and a forced fumble. Ricardo Stovall, 2 sacks. That's big for Kebab Barkers. But it wasn't enough. They couldn't get the offense going well enough to make those strong defensive plays count. And that's going to be it. Let's get things started to our next game. Shall we?
We're just kicking things off. You thought it was over, but you're wrong. You're absolutely wrong. What were you thinking?
And we are going to get things going with our second and final game of the evening. It is going to be the 5 seed. Where are they? The 5 seed Hootenanny's Country Western Daycare taking on the 12 seed Crambler's House of Gags and Actual Items. So the at-large bid, the 5 seed Hootenanny's taking on the champions of the Big Small Business Conference, Cramblers, who defeated Burns and Crackle Mesothelioma Law Firm in a bit of an upset to win the conference.
I'm just seeing the picture in the Discord of fucking Bartolo Colon with Jacob DeGrom's hair.
Oh no, hang on. This is gonna be a problem. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh god. What hath Scient wrought?
Why haven't it wrought it sooner?
What has science done? There was some regular in our chat that was like, what hath science something or other. I wonder what happened to that dude. If you're that guy or girl in the chat and you've changed your name, let me know, because I always like your username. What hath science something or other. Just a great thing to just exclaim. Anyway, we are getting started here. It is the 12 seed Cramblers, House of Gags and Actual Items, the champions of the Big Small Business Conference, finishing the season at 6-5, winning the last 2 in a row in Week 10 over Fat and Lazy Motorized Scooters, and of course winning the Big Small Business Conference championship game over Burns and Crackle Mesothelioma Law Firm. That was a close one, 21-16. They were the underdogs in that. So they are the 12 seed, the low-ranked team, taking on the 5 seed Hootenanny's Country Western Daycare, finishing the season at 7-3, 5-2 in conference. Strong schedule. The RPI, 5th overall RPI, strong strength of schedule, 17th overall. A lot of quality teams they're playing. They had a loss at the Binging Texan at a conference. Wins over the Horse Pussy Saloon and the Marmalade Shack. You know, that three-way series between Hootenanny's Horse Pussy Saloon and the Binging Texan really is just upped all three of those teams' games. You know, the Horse Pussy Saloon were one of the teams that were one of the first 4 teams out of the tournament. But they could have easily been the 3rd of 3 in there. Also a loss to 1-800-Buy-A-Dad, but a couple of big wins. Win over CTE. You know, Hootenanny's have been a strong team. The CSC, middle of the pack, not as good as they were last season, but still a strong conference. They were represented with 2 teams, I believe. 2 teams. And Hootenanny's are one of those 2 teams.
Absolutely. Earlier in the season, it proved that there's nothing like a Binging Texan going to town on some horse pussy and having a real Hootenanny.
No doubt. That should be the name of that 3-way series. Let's talk about the star players. The Star Watch brought to you by Star Watch and Wall to Wall Salve. I can't give too much of a live read for them because of Tucson. But nonetheless, star players.
Tucson, basically steroids.
Star players for Hootenanny's Country Western Daycare. We'll go through them real quickly. That is left to right. That is wide receiver Ray Darius Oakland. Defensive lineman Whoopi Macon, and not pictured defensive back Matthias Crunk. For Cramblers, House of Gags and Actual Items, that is star running back Hoo-Ha Crunch Tater. Not pictured defensive lineman Von Drook Rock Punch, and defensive back Hurricane Standback. So I understand you've gone on the record, RJ, of saying you're predicting the upset in this one. You like Cramblers as potentially upsetting the Hootenannies. You sticking with that one, or you'll still like the 5 seed in this?
Oh my goodness, there is the potential, but after thinking it over, I gotta say, I've gotta feel like it'll be a closer game, but I do like Hootenanny's as a safe pick. But don't be surprised if Crambler's House of Gags and Actual Items puts up a stronger showing than one might think.
You know, I take it back. Actually, I was Twin Towers. You said we're expected to be the upset team, not the 12 seed. That's the 11 seed. But yeah, you did call this to be a close game. So I think a lot of people would have to agree with you. If you think if you have a pick in this game in the 5-12 matchup, let us know in the chat. In the meantime, let's go down to the Muni. You are looking live at Municipal Field, number 184 for the second game of the first round of the playoffs. It is the 12 seed Crambler's House of Gags and Actual Items, the champions out of the Big Small Business Conference, taking on Hootenanny's Country Western Daycare, the 5 seed, and the at-large pick from the CSC, the Child Services Conference. 5 versus 12 with Kathy's Country Cookin' of the Gluttony League, the 4 seed, waiting in the wings. And Ray Darius Oakland's going to start things off with a 16-yard return for Hootenanny's, who are, of course, the home team in the purple and white pants. Crambler is in their deeper purple, more of like an indigo, with white jerseys. And I like that there's a pretty split pick here. You know, 5 versus 12, that's always a popular thing to say when it's a 16, when the seeds go up to 16. But you got remember, 12 is the lowest seed in this tournament. But people are liking Cramblers. I think they came in hot. They had an impressive showing over Burns and Crackle. Can I increase the on-field grunting volume? If I could, I will.
We need more grunting in South Tucson youth football.
I mean, you're not wrong. He's not wrong. Leg kick TKO. He, she. I assume he, but that's just by default. Leg kick TKO is not wrong. There needs to be more grunting in South Tucson. That must be something I'll work on in the next season, maybe. And Hootenanny's somehow found Torian Bonds. Well, invest in Bonds. Torian Bonds for the first down, 7-yard catch, and Roddy Hutchinson, first pass of the game, and it's a good one, a big one, all the way down to the 37-yard line. Gonna hand it off to Brenton Hayward. No gain on that one. 2nd and 10.
That makes it 2nd and 10.
Here we go.
47 right, 47 right, 47.
I thought most of the grunting in South Tucson was done by Tammy. I mean, you're not wrong, Hodge.
That's true. That's mostly from the after show. But nonetheless, you know, I gotta say, I really like the new format already. Only one game in. I like that we're seeing teams from all the conferences. You know, if we just went with straight up rankings, I'm not sure we'd be seeing teams like Cramblers and teams like Kebab Barkers in it. But you want to give them a fighting chance. You want to represent all the conferences in one way or another. And, you know, I think a team like Holy Balls may not have made the field after that, but they got a high seed after being an automatic bid, and you know, made for some exciting postseason. Made some exciting Week 10 and Championship Week action.
Is it bad that whenever I see somebody with the last name Blevins, I just think, God damn it, Manny has too many fucking cousins.
Yes, and they all dress up as other football players. Yes, going with the oh God, how cool was it the revival were showing up? Yeah, say yeah and say yeah.
Face mask. Defense.
Which I'm not gonna lie, I marked out for how they revealed Nakamura with just the cut to the violin player who's just hanging out there.
Automatic first.
That was the best
so
way to do it
good.
because everyone knew.
Everybody who was there knew. WrestleMania Tuesday. It's like the WrestleMania Monday crowd, but somehow much more civilized.
I think they got all their shit out on Monday, and a lot of them flew out on Tuesday morning. Touchdown Hootenannies to get things started.
Here we go. First points on the board, and they are just rounding it up. They have forded the river. They have avoided dysentery. And Raydarius Oakland, his new stepmother, of course, Ms. Vegas. We hear he might be changing family names soon.
Oh my God, Ray Darius Oakland. I'm so sad. That doesn't work anymore. I'm legitimately kind of sad about that. Well, never forget.
So Ray Darius Oakland getting the first points. The extra point is good at Hootenanny's Country Western Daycare. Taking it advantage early. The 5 seed, the highest seeded team that has to play in this first round.
Yep, and now we're seeing Crambler taking the field for the very first time halfway through this first quarter. So this is good clock management by Hootenanny. He's just taking a lot of the time off the clock. Hoo-ha Crunch Tater handed off on the first play from scrimmage. No gain on that one.
Absolutely. Hoo-ha Crunch Tater. His style of play is just simple. Cramble. Cramble your way through the backfield, through the blockers, and punch it in for points.
No doubt. Oh, big catch! Theo Ramser! 25 yards, and that is the big play that Cramblers are known to pull out. They'll lull you to sleep with Hoo-ha Crunch Tater, and then they'll air it out to someone like Theo Ramser or any of their other options at wide receiver. And Hootenanny's is going to have to keep guessing on this one. They can't just assume they're going to pack the box and get a dose of Crunch Tater, who got 5 yards on that one. So there you go. Don't you dare be Ram sour. All I know is before they shake up the rosters, this is what I'm saying. I want to see the Revival versus Sheamus and Cesaro before they shake up the rosters. I think we all need that matchup.
It's true. We also might need that to be a future tag team feud for the belts at some point down the line.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Even if you move them both to SmackDown, I don't care. Just say yeah and do it. Just give me like 15 to 20 minutes of them. And just, yeah, it'd be great. Like, I also am super happy for Ty Dillinger because you can, like, see, like, any of his interviews. He's, like, genuinely ecstatic about that. Like, I don't know if anyone of you watched that. Like, I watched when he came out in the Rumble and the interview afterwards was cool. And then, like, he comes out and they show, and they cut to his interview afterwards, and he's like tearing up and just having this emotional moment. I'm like, that's about as real as it gets, because like he's a lifer. That is Sean Spears, you guys. That is Gavin Spears, Sean Spears. Like, even after his run in SmackDown might be done, he needs to go back to NXT, get a run with the title, and be a god there, and then go be a trainer. Because like no one's more NXT, I think, at this point than him.
That is very, very true.
Like, I was just super happy for him. Like, that's the thing. I don't know the fucking guy. I was just happy for him. I also hope we get Cien Almas in 205 Live. I think that'll be fun. And right back from it, Derek Garrett for Cramblers, tying things up with a running rush up the right side. Gets about 12 yards on that one.
He was Stan. He just kicked Stan.
Oh my God, that was... You're right. I can picture that scene, and that was him. Amazing. Thank you for pointing that out. But yeah, I'll flat out say I was in Orlando. It was pretty rad. Cramble Mania is crambling wild. I love it.
Now, did you take the green light when they were giving it to you? Were you ready to go?
That song can go...
Are you like myself and hating yourself at the fact that you can actually groove to it? Because that was me the whole build-up.
I'm gonna take a line from our good buddy Seth, aka Nash's Touring Quad. That song can get stuffed. Who would you call up from Southpaw Regional Wrestling? I think we need Gallows and Anderson to disappear.
Put them in the Lake of Rejuvenation.
Yep.
And then 2 weeks later we have
Texan Chad.
Texan Chad.
It'd be the best. I'm so working on a Tex Ferguson cosplay, by the way. It's gonna happen.
Yes.
It's pretty easy, actually. I just gotta find a baseball jacket that I can turn into a Rivera one. Mr. Price, I'm gonna get to that in a second, because my God, yeah.
7-7 matchup to start the second quarter here.
Yep, sorry, I just needed some water.
Yeah, I'm all.
Apparently
out of
Keith
Joe
Lee
Mango.
was like the MVP of the fucking weekend. I did not see a lot of him. What I saw was fucking great. I loved him versus Dijak at Evolve. So for the record, this is what I attended. I flew in Thursday evening. I went to Joey Janela's spring break. Yeah, Hootenanny's with a huge air out play, by the way. And they're stuffed at the 5-yard line, second and goal. So the shows I attended were Joey Janela's spring break on Thursday at midnight. I hit up every WWN show on Friday. So I hit Progress, Evolve, Chikara, and I did Kaiju Big Battle at midnight. And then Saturday I tried to go to Access. There were not tickets at the door, so I took a lift all the way down there for nothing. That sucked, but whatever. I went to the Superstore, which was not impressive, and I got to watch weird fans at the replica belt stand order things. That was creepy, because I wanted to see if they had a United Kingdom Championship, just out of curiosity. I didn't want one, but they didn't. They had the Cruiserweight title, but not the UK Championship yet. And then I got back, I went up to downtown area, met up with my friend Bronson, who occasionally has been on this stuff. Hootenanny's going to settle for a field goal after that much that much of a drive. That's kind of a victory for Cramblers to settle for 3 points. Yeah, so then I went to NXT. I had great seats for NXT. And then I went back to the WWN location, which is about a mile from where I was staying. Said goodbye to some people who were waiting in line for the Midnight Beyond show. I did not attend the Beyond show because I went back to my place. I got like less than 3 hours of sleep. I woke up at 3:45 a.m. and I showered and I went to the airport. I got on a flight and I was back on my couch by 10 a.m. And then I watched Mania and I was falling asleep on the floor while, like, from any point from Triple H Rollins onward. Not that it was bad, just that I was exhausted.
I was in a very different spot of just feeling like, wow, this was another 5-hour show. It certainly didn't feel like it.
Really? I assume if I was well rested, that would be the case. My friends who are also exhausted but at Mania said, you know, it was long, but it didn't feel like it. It felt like it moved, which is good, which is great to say. I mean, I was just exhausted.
Yeah, it was different than last year's. You could kind of tell that it was 5 hours and it felt longer. This year, not so much.
No Way Jose Petway, yes. I was legit sad No Way Jose is not in the was not on NXT. In fact, so were a lot of my Carolina friends because they're the ones who actually know Manny. He used to wrestle as, I believe, Manny Garcia in CWF Mid-Atlantic. So they were very sad that he was not on TakeOver, that he got removed. That being said, best parts of the weekend, the whole experience of Joey Janela's spring break, from waiting in line to the entire span of time between waiting in line for Joey Janela's spring break to the midway through the Evolve show was easily the best part, because I got to go to Progress. I got to hang out with friends who I've met through, like, loving Progress. I got to hang out a little bit with Trent Seven and Tyler Bate, and that was kind of rad. I got to gush to Jim Smallman about how, like, I used his, like, I would watch him and take ideas from what he did to find myself be more comfortable in the ring when I ring announce. Yeah, it was kind of surreal. And then the Progress show was the best fucking thing. See, here's the thing. I didn't watch all of Joey Janela's spring break because it was such a batshit night that I feel like I caught like half of it because so much was happening around me, and I was okay. So when guys would come down, by the way, touchdown Hootenanny's, Ray Darius Oakland. I'm sorry I'm not calling this game. The Hoot. The Hoot is on fire. It is going to be a 10-point game with the extra point pending. And Cramblers are going to have to keep this game from getting away from them. It's 17-7. They got to score on this upcoming drive. Yeah, I watched about half of Joey Janela's spring break because what was just going on around me was crazy. So, like, okay, I was standing in the crowd by... Okay, so if you watch Joey Janela's spring break or any of the shows there, when you come out of the when the wrestlers come out of the entranceway, is as they're walking towards the ring from down the entranceway, I'm on the entrance side on the right, standing with a whole bunch of random people for Janela's spring break. Everyone's got VIP lanyards except for me and the people I'm with. No one's checking. We're afraid to go get drinks because we're like worried that someone's gonna check, but no one cared. Everyone was drunk or didn't give a shit. It was bonkers, and I loved every minute of it. And I feel like I missed so much of it, I need to go watch it again. I loved how they did the Earl Hebner run-in. They teased it so many times. Big run by Hoo-Ha Crunch Tater. That is a huge breakthrough for Cramblers. And with 1:55 to go in the first half, they needed a run like that to get down into Hootenanny's position. Oh God, it makes me want to go to New Orleans. I don't know if I can do it because I got to do the Rumble in Philly. It's an easier thing to get to. But like all my friends, they didn't. Okay, so I'm friends with Matthew. He's a cool dude. My understanding is they didn't kick him out. They kicked his friend out, and they didn't kick him out. They just didn't tell them no re-entry, which is poor form on their part. He obviously, the thing is, he didn't want to leave the guy out there, you know, so he just left with him. I believe is what happened. I don't think they kicked him out. I think that was rumor and innuendo to steal a Bruce Pritchard line. A Pritchard show line. That's the understanding of what I heard.
A brother love line.
Yes, Pritchard show. You know, a lot of rumor and innuendo. Yeah. So and my sources, I chatted with Matthew for a little bit. I got to hang out with him for like about 15 minutes as we were passing because it was like, oh, we're both going to be at these two shows, and I didn't see him at either of them. And then I'm wandering into Chikara, and I see him standing outside talking with Rory Gulak, and I'm like, oh my God, I need to actually say hi to you because I didn't see you, and I haven't seen him since January when he did the MagFest thing. So yeah, good dude. I like the guy, but yeah, he explained the whole reason as to why it was going on, and it sucks. It's not okay. That they should have been clear about no re-entry, and Cramblers not able.
Automatic first down.
Man, I liked Simon Gotch. I'm sad about that. I kind of would rather see them do something with Aiden English as a singles wrestler rather than give him Jack Gallagher and kind of let Gallagher wallow a little bit. And, oh, breaking free, Roddy Hutchinson, 25 yards up the middle, just hangs on to it and gets a first down. Cramblers have no answer for this offense. And I didn't actually mention the playbooks of these teams, did I?
Oh, let's go into the offenses, including the one of Hootenanny's, which just...
Oklahoma. And Cramblers have Stanford, so Oklahoma's... he can beat up people in old wrestling. Yeah, well, Simon Gotch was on the Indies. You may know him as Ryan Drago. He'll be back. He'll still be around. He was solid. He was a West Coast guy.
It will be remembered much more fondly than the Aaron Retz era in TNA.
Yeah, that's too bad.
Number 2, the intended receiver on the play.
But yeah, Progress was absolutely as amazing. Oh, Jervis already has a tag team partner. He's got Marion Fontaine, man. They're, oh God, what is their team name?
That's a gain of 1 on the play. That'll make
No, Simon Gotch went as Ryan Drago. He was in King of Trios one year. Yeah, Jervis has got the hobo in CWF Hollywood. He and Marion Fontaine, and I can't remember what their name is. Is it like just team? Is it just called Team Old Fashioned maybe, or just Old Fashioned? God, I forget. I think that's what they're called. Because they team together like in the Midwest sometimes, or they did in Chikara a little bit. Because Marion Fontaine's based out. Because Marion Fontaine runs Old Wrestling, so where they run is where he's based out of. And another flag. Hootenanny's
Personal foul.
just unstoppable. Cramblers having a lot of trouble. 19 seconds to go. They're going to get a 1st and goal on the 7-yard line, and Hootenanny's can put the hurt on even more. They can add another score to this game before the half ends.
Oh, buddy. Well, Cramblers are gonna need to start putting supports on the board, but right now they're crumbling instead of crambling.
Cramblers now crumbling. I love how there are 3 people just said that. That's amazing. Good time out there by Hootenanny's. They got 1 left, 2nd and goal. They're going to opt to throw it. Roddy Hutchinson has a receiver wide open. It's Terrence McTaggart with the touchdown. Hootenanny's take the lead, and they stretch it even further with 12 seconds to go. Sweet, sassy Mo Lassie indeed, leg kick TKO.
Good googly moogly.
Great googly moogly indeed. I will flat out say also, I loved the Progress show, and I don't know if I was happier about being at a show than I was at Progress, because I was just so excited about that. And it was just, I loved it. I hope the show was half as good as I remember it being, because I was looking at through rose-colored glasses. But the only downside is I didn't get a picture with Trent Seven. I got to chat with him. I got to joke with him. He was very nice. I got a hug from Trent Seven. I got a hug. Trent Seven gives great hugs. I'm going to say that on the record right now. Trent Seven gives excellent hugs. I feel like I just don't need to give context as to why I got a hug from Trent Seven.
Hug life.
Yep, pretty much. Also, Mark Andrews. Absolute delightful human. Mark Andrews. The thing I can say about Mark Andrews, and I'm going to extend this to Eddie Dennis as well, who I just adore. I don't know if they're my favorite wrestlers, but I don't think I'm happier. I don't think I'm happier watching wrestling than I am when I watch Mark Andrews and or Eddie Dennis. Why wouldn't I get a hug from Trent Seven? Because he offered it. That's the best part. He offered the hug. It was great. Fuck it. Here's the context. I was hanging out with one of my friends, who is female, and I met 2 of her friends, also female, who both knew Trent Seven from previous interactions, interviews, and seeing him and whatnot. So he goes up to see them. You know, he and Tyler Bate both come out. This is before the Janela show. They're just kind of hanging out because I guess they were backstage at the Evolve show or whatever, Thursday night. Trent goes up to one of the other girls, gives her a hug, gives the other one a hug. They introduce my friend to them, gets a hug, and they introduce me. I extend my hand. Hi, I'm Brian. And he's about to do the handshake. I'm like, and he goes, and we both kind of look at each other like, nah, and going for the hug. I'm like, you know what? That was the best. That was the best. So Trent Seven opted to hug me. He chose to hug me. That's my claim to fame.
And by the way, this halftime show is brought to you by the Nissan Laugh Finder. It comfortably seats something and uncomfortably seats all the people who didn't know about the no re-entry policy. Nissan,
rip.
Get in the car.
Rip.
Number 24.
Oh, that's so sad.
Rip and tear. Rip and tear. That is
ripping and the
exactly
tearing.
what-
And yeah, Cramblers have been suffering from the ripping and the tearing, by Hootenannies.
There will be no wild women. No wild women for them if this keeps
They're
up
11
like
years
this.
old, RJ.
You think that stopped people in South Tucson before?
Nope. Nonetheless, we are seeing potentially a blowout if Cramblers cannot get the ball moving. Jose Petway, no way on that one. 3-yard rush up the middle. Gets a bit gets a bit crambled up in his own line.
Very unfortunate.
Personal foul. Face mask.
This is
Defense.
And a face mask will give Cramblers a bit of a gift there. A first down, and they'll be moved to the 43-yard line.
First down.
everybody take a drink. I am out of Go Mango, so I have cracked open a can of Plum Crazy. That's right, Plum Crazy. You may know it as one of the predominant colors of the famous Plymouth Hemicuda of the late 60s.
I just know it as what South Tucson Youth Football has turned me. Plum Crazy. But yes, progress was absolutely
Delicious
amazing. Just a life-changing experience for me. Not really, but I was just so happy. The only show that I didn't love was Kaiju Big Battle, honestly. When I saw it back at Mania 29 weekend, back in 2013, it was in New Jersey, and it was fun, but the sound quality was the worst. It was just super loud and over-modulated, and the sound, they didn't care because everyone was drunk. Here they also didn't care because everyone was drunk, and the show just also meandered around, and it just was not a well-staged show. It was just a mess. And when I was chatting with Bryce Remsburg, who was refereeing a lot of the shows this weekend, I got to meet him when he came to work Nova last month. And he's a great guy. He actually remembered me from just seeing me at Chikara shows a lot, which was kind of cool. But now we officially had met. So I was chatting with him. I was like, this isn't going to go till 3 a.m. like Joey Janela's spring break is. Is it? And he just looks at me and goes, oh, God, no. It's going to be like an hour 45. I'm like, okay. Problem was it was like 1:20 a.m. and they just went to intermission. I'm like, yeah, I'm out of here. I can't do this anymore. So it was just, it was hard to track. It was hard to follow. And it was like the two guys I was with watching it were just like, this is not as fun as I had hoped it to be. And I'm sad because I liked Kaiju Big Battle, but apparently it's not all the same guys. Like it's a lot of turnover in Kaiju now. I don't even know who's running it anymore. But nonetheless, Cramblers are in fact running it. There's a dump pass to the Derek Garrett, the backup running back. Gets 4 yards on that one. 4th and 11. Might have to go for it here. It's in that no man's land, the 32-yard line. And I have a cat that's
big character-defining moments here for Crambler's House of Gags and actual items. Right now, they're looking like an absolute gag in this contest.
Yep, that is the Jekyll and Hyde nature. They could be an actual team. They could be a gag. And that's going to be a turnover. Hootenanny's going to get this ball back, and the game does not feel like it's going to be any more competitive at this point. Hootenanny's have just been controlling this game on both sides. Oh my God, I'm so glad that people loved the South Pacific Power Trip, because I have loved watching them go from decent at the early stages of progress to a friggin' phenomenal team. And I don't think I was happier for anyone this weekend than I was for them, because they're super cool dudes. Dahlia's a sweetheart too. I didn't get to chat with her too much, but she was a trooper for being on a 9-hour flight in the boot because she broke her ankle at the last Progress show. So she couldn't wrestle, but it was actually wonderful because they came out for Progress, and usually when the South Pacific Power Trip come out, she leads the way. She struts out, and then out come Travis and TK. And so out come Travis and TK, and they go, wait a second. They go to the back, and one of the stagehands is carrying Dahlia on their shoulder. And it's just the best. She got a Queen's entrance, and it was wonderful. It was amazing. Oh, Travis Banks is the best. Oh my God. Oh, it's so great. They're all so great. They're the best. I love them all. I'm sad I didn't get to chat with them, but they're heavy vanity searchers on Twitter. So when I gushed about them on Twitter, I know they saw it.
Number 83, the intended receiver on the play.
Yeah, so that's that. They were wonderful. I heard their match with Jaka and Dixon was great, but I was at NXT, so I didn't see that. One last thing about NXT. Aleister Black is going to be a star. Can we just all agree with that right now? He's going to be a star.
Was the intended receiver on the play.
I feel like this has been going. I feel like it's been going around, and honestly, yeah, I can see it.
Did you see the entrance?
I actually did not get a chance to catch
check it out.
Takeover
It's worth
Orlando.
Even if you just see his entrance, it's worth it. The entrance is amazing. Watching it live, we saw it all being set up. We're like, okay, what the hell is happening? We just see him laying down. And then we watch it from the stands. Me and my buddy Kevin, one of us just goes, wow. And we both just have our jaws hanging open. I don't think we said a word for his entire entrance. I think he went wow when he emerged. And yeah, my cat was reacting too. I made some sort of noise when they did the whole alchemy symbols that turned into his name, because they had that on the big screen. They didn't show it on TV that well, which is too bad. It was so cool. That is a star's entrance. And he's going to be something big, and I can't wait to see it because Tommy End is just the fucking best. And the best thing is I met somebody at the Progress show who I talked to afterwards. The best thing I heard was from a Progress regular who came over from the UK who said, yeah, after talking to him a lot of times after shows, I know for a fact he was fangirling inside during that entrance. And I'm just like, I'm picturing that, and yeah, that makes me like him even more.
That's great.
Yeah, oh, the Bobby Roode one, exactly, the same thing. Like, Bobby Roode's entrance was great, too, like, at TakeOver. It was all great. Like, they do it so well, and I can't wait, now that they called so many of them up, I can't wait to see what they're going to do with the next set. Like, Nikki Cross and Ruby Riott are going to be unbelievable. Unbelievable in NXT. I can't wait for them. Like, they looked great in the 8-person tag match. That was fun. I know we're talking about wrestling a lot during the playoffs. That's super bad, but Cramblers are not really doing much for this game. They got a first down on that one by no way Jose Petway.
It's getting shelled. Also, I feel like I missed a lot of the stories by not being at Orlando in and around the vicinity of the Ultimate Thrill Ride. Did we mention that Orlando's tourism comes from amusement parks?
Yeah, right. Drew, your view NXT. Drew, what? I don't get what you're saying.
Like when Drew McIntyre came back to NXT?
Oh yeah, when he just showed up randomly. That was great. It was like, yeah, he apparently wrestled at one of the house shows. I think he wrestled Oni Lorcan in Alabama.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, right. And Crambler's trying to make a game of this. They are in the red zone. Handing it off to, that's Derek Garrett, who's brought down for a loss of 3. Hoo-ha Crunch Tater. Been given a bit of a rest. That's going to bring an end to the third quarter. Hootenanny's with a 17-point lead in this 5 versus 12 seed matchup. Kathy's Country Cookin' await the winners of this one. But the 12 seed, if they want to pull off the upset of all upsets, going to need to have the fourth quarter of their life. Hootenannies have this game well in control at this time. And like I say, Old Takes Exposed is going to be collecting all those Hootenannies got it in the bag tweets in case Cramblers can make the comeback.
Yeah, you don't want to blow anywhere from like a 17 to a 25-point lead at this stage of the contest. Oh, so he doesn't have his Bob Seger / Metallica music anymore.
Who doesn't?
Drew McIntyre.
Oh, God. And that'll help. A touchdown for Cramblers. Theo Ramsauer. Don't you dare be Ramsauer.
Clap for your world-famous Cramblers offense that will make them feel the power. This game's not over just yet.
It is not. They got to put a good stop in, and they can make this a one-score game again. Extra point. Makes it a 10-point game. Hootenannies. You know, they're up by 10, but I got to say, they got to respond. They don't want momentum to go away from them.
Now they're going to have to start pressuring. They're going to have to start pressuring the Hootenannies offense, and I'm just, are they able to do that at this stage of the game?
That would be really tough.
We'll see what they've got here. It's still a 10-point game with 4:38 left to go.
No doubt, and Hootenanny's going to have to start from back at their own 20. And we got a couple of big games for you. Oh, almost picked off! Hurricane stand back with the deflection. Couldn't hang on to it. Was falling backwards. Got his hands onto the football. Could not hang on to it. That's why he's a defensive back and not a wide receiver, I guess, kids.
Just hit him on the hardest part of the body, the hands.
Hardest part to hit it, yeah. Going for the short pass, Lucas Tidwell. And I heard his mom's pretty good, too, at football. 4-yard catch, or 5-yard catch, 3rd and 5. Hootenanny's got to really just get that first down. Big drop back, dumps it off to the running back. Brenton Hayward only gets 2 yards out of it, 4th and 3. Hootenannies are going to have to punt. And Cramblers have a chance to get back into this.
This game's not over just
It is
yet.
by no means is it over. And I was just about to tell you that
spread, huh?
some spread, huh? Yeah, really. I would have said about if I had to pick a spread on this one, I would have said about 10.5 points. That seems like 10, 11, 12, 13 would have been about the range of the spread, you know? Wow, 1 for 5 on third down. That's a good stat to catch that, Demented 316. Thank you. And, of course, we got 2 big playoff first-round games tomorrow. The 7-seed Big Paul's Mexicanless Car Wash taking on number 10 seed Del Grango's Discount Seafood. And the 6-seed Holy Balls taking on the 11-seed Twin Towers Construction. Those are 2 games tomorrow night. We're going to start a little bit later than we did tonight, probably closer to 9 o'clock. And then, of course, Saturday and Sunday, during the day, we will have the quarterfinals. We know Tax's Roadhouse, the 1-seed, will take on the 9-seed Binging Texan Barbecue Buffet. The 4-seed Kathy's Country Cookin' will take on the winner of this game. And, of course, Sunday action will involve the 2-seed 1-800 Biodad and the 3-seed The Creamy Surprise against the winners of tomorrow's games. Semifinals will be middle of next week, and, of course, we'll have the championship game most likely next weekend. And hoo-ha, Crunch Tater with a catch for a loss of yards, and it's 4th and 17. The defense for Hootenanny's coming in huge for them. And Crambler's going to have to go for it. 3:20 to go in this game. They are going for it out of the shotgun. I'm sorry, you were saying?
We're going to have to go for it here. Defining moment in this contest.
It's not an easy play. Let's see what they do. They got to air this one out. They're chucking it downfield. Almost picked off. It's a turnover. Matthias Crunk gets his hands on it, bats it down. Opts for the better field position with 3 minutes to go. And that's a smart football play by Crunk to bat it down, not intercept it. And Hootenannies will take over once more with 3 minutes to go. Still a lot of time left to play, but they could afford another score in this game to get it a little out of reach.
Could only imagine what it would have been like if Crunk had gotten his hands around that ball and given them worse field position. It would have been a true look what you did now, you little shit moment.
Really would have. I think the coach would have been doing some screaming there, but Hootenannies, you know, the 5th seed Hootenannies, they've had such a great season. They've been all over the. If I look, I'm gonna look at what we've got here. Hootenannies have been kind of ever present in the top 10. They finish up ranked 5th overall. That's actually 1 spot lower than when they finished the regular season. They sat as high as 3rd in week 8, and oh my goodness, a 35-yard run from scrimmage for Brenton Hayward, touchdown Hootenannies just like that. They effectively put the nail in the coffin of Cramblers and extend this to a 17-point game once more, with the extra point pending, of course.
Well, you can put this one on ice. You can put the ice into the back of the truck. You can drive the truck all the way down to the park. You can park the truck at the parking lot of the park.
And you know, that was a statement play right there from scrimmage, just showing Hootenannies that they have control of this game entirely. Let's see the offensive production. Hoo-Ha Crunch Tater, 49 yards. The rest of the team, 147. Pretty strong showing by Hoo-Ha Crunch Tater, but I think they could have used a little bit more from them if they wanted to win this. Just shows how strong the rush defense, the rushing defense was.
Stick a fork in this game, cut it open to make sure that it's the proper and safe temperature to serve to your guests. Put it on a plate, garnish it with bay leaves and lemon. This one is over.
And let's talk about Hootenannies for a second. The Hootenannies, they entered the rankings after week 7. They started at 9th. They moved all the way up to number 3 in the rankings after week 8. That's about the highest they hit. They dropped. They kind of pinballed. They yo-yoed back and forth. 7th, 6th. Ended the regular season at 4th. They finished the 5th seed overall. Pretty darn good, I got to say, for Hootenannies. And they've got a game up against Kathy's Country Cookin' in the 2nd round. And if I'm looking, they no, it's not actually a rematch. I was about to say that was a rematch, but it was not a rematch at all. But Hootenannies have been looking a strong team. Now here's the question, oh, big play! Big catch by Deontay McGrew, 33 yards for Cramblers. Minute 36 to go. They are not giving up. I gotta say, you gotta admire the heart, the grit, the determination of these kids. They're playing to the final whistle because if they don't, they just get tackled as limp bodies.
The heart, the discipline, the athleticism of these young men. I'll tell you what, this is a performance for the ages. For Hootenanny's Country Western Daycare.
They certainly are. They get, nice catch. Wide open on the slant route. Gets enough for the first down, 1st and goal for Cramblers.
That makes it 1st and goal.
Cramblers trying to get some points on the board, trying to at least make this a salvageable contest. If they get a touchdown and an extra point here, it brings it to within 10 points, but it's a steep task to ask of them.
And they get the touchdown, though. James Mayhew, a 17-yard catch. The tight end just powers his way into the end zone. And they're back to 10, but with 58 seconds to go, I think enough time has run out. Hootenannies are going to just try to take the air out of this football.
The kick is good.
58 seconds left to go. We will surely see an onside kick.
They do, and Terrence McTaggart returns it for Hootenannies. All 3 timeouts, but still 57 seconds to go. It's a lot to ask for Cramblers to make these stops.
So we're looking at a potential matchup of Hootenanny's Kathy's Country Cooking in the second round.
Defense.
It would be a 4-seed versus a 5-seed matchup, and something really has to give.
Automatic
Yep,
first
Chalk gets it. And there's going to be some tears on the field. You can already see these kids lining up at the line of scrimmage. Tears welling up in their eyes. Not even able to make the block, so they're going to be just pancaked completely by the Hootenannies team, who will be celebrating, and that is going to be Hutchinson hanging on to it, running it in for the touchdown. Well, the crying is going to be even more amplified with a touchdown for Hootenannies.
Run it up.
They'll be crying in Little Curacao, Little Honduras, and of course, Little Vanuatu.
Running it
Extra
up,
point
it builds character.
up, and that's been good. And yep, stop, they're already dead. Hootenannies making a statement. They're already in the tournament. They don't need to make a statement anymore. But Cramblers, the game is just getting away from them. Congratulations to them for their first tournament bid as the 12 seed. They were an underdog to make the tournament. They were underdogs in the conference championship. Got the big one over Burns and Crackle. They're gonna take pride in knowing that they were the big small business conference champions, and they put up an effort, but they were just not enough. It was not enough for. It was just not enough to handle Hootenanny's Country Western Daycare.
They wrangled up these little kids just like they do in their day job.
But they are going to air it out with a big play. Well, let's say they are playing to the final whistle. A 50-yard catch by Theo Ramsauer. They call the timeout. You know what? These are moments that you just want to enjoy. These are the end of the tournament. The game's already decided. The game's already been decided. But you know what? Just have some fun. Play to the final whistle. Get some of these players some big plays. Just try some stuff out. It's 32 seconds to go. What do you have to lose at this point? They're already down to the 5. This is the kind of just gunslinging you kind of wish they played with all game. And they are just, they're a darling team of this tournament. It's gonna be sad to see them out in the first round. But again, yeah, good garbage time stats. And a big sack on No Way, Jose Petway. 3rd and goal for Cramblers back at the 12. A lot of time, and it's going to be incomplete. 4th and goal.
I do not think they get a large pizza from Pizza Hut.
They might get one from Tremors, though.
Yeah, that's true. They got to move that product.
And it's incomplete. It's a turnover on downs. Well, Cramblers have made for a fun game, but it looks like Hootenannies are going to effectively put this game to bed. They will advance, and that is the name of the game: Survive and Advance. Hootenannies Country Western Daycare.
Football.
Sorry?
I thought the name of the game was football.
Yes,
I'm
the name of the game is
confused.
football, but it is Survive and Advance. They will move on to the second round. And Hootenannies have a date with Kathy's Country Cookin' in the second round on Saturday. The 4-seed
Because the
Kathy's and the 5-seed Hootenannies will do battle.
The Hoot brings you back to the second round of the playoffs. 38-21.
It used to be Shaggy's Pizzeria, but they had to change their name because they were getting sued, so it's Tremors Pizzeria. Tremors Pizza. And Hootenannies, I mean, the way they played, you got to like their chances in the second round game against Kathy's, don't you?
Absolutely. With another performance like that, they could easily find themselves in contention to make it all the way to the championship game at the end of this playoffs.
Oh, I mean, I gotta say, I think the road on the left side of the bracket still goes through Texas Roadhouse. I think you and I agree with that one, maybe. But
oh yes.
I think I don't want to discount Kathy's Country Cooking, but I think the winner of that 4-5 game is going to give Texas Roadhouse a run for their money. That's it from us. Go over the games we're going to see tomorrow night. We're going to start a little bit later than we did tonight. Big Paul's Mexicanless Car Wash, the 7-seed out of the BCC. An at-large bid taking on an at-large bid out of the Gluttony League. Del Grango's Discount Seafood, the 7-10 matchup, the 7-seed versus the 10-seed in that one. And, of course, Holy Balls, the champions of the American Freedoms Conference. They are the 6th seed, taking on the 11th seed, an at-large bid, Twin Towers Construction. A bit of a controversial pick there. Some people didn't have them in the field. They finished the season at 6-5, but they did enough to get an at-large bid. They are in the tournament as the 11th seed, taking on Holy Balls. Those are the two games tonight. RJ, anything else you want to give a mention to?
Plum Crazy is not quite as delicious as Go Mango, but it will still make you sick to your tummy.
Well, there you go. The Paul Fine Quad Show is next. I'll be taking all your calls. He's already getting some calls right now coming in. The phones have been ringing off the hook because it's one of those old phones that actually like shakes when it rings, so the receiver comes off, and we end up hanging up on a lot of the callers. And then because it's off the hook, it's a busy signal, so it doesn't really work that well that way. That's it. This has been KYST 89.3 FM, The Bone.
The Bone.
AM 1400, The Growler.
The Growler.
And you've been watching us on South Tucson Local Access Channel number 22.
Oh, man.
That's it from us. We'll see you tomorrow night with more playoff first-round action. Until then, good night from South Tucson, Arizona.
Get out of here. You can't stay. You can't go home, but you can't stay here either.
There we go. Okay, how about play the music this time?